Do you ever feel like you're always getting stuck in some sort of emotional loop? So maybe for you, it's anxiety, fear, overwhelm, self doubt, people pleasing. And you've done the work. So maybe you've done therapy, you've journaled about it, you've meditated, but somehow it keeps cycling back and becoming a problem again. And it's like your brain knows what it's supposed to do, but your nervous system is still running some sort of old script. Well, most of us live with emotional patterns that just aren't serving us anymore. They're familiar, they're wired in, sometimes they're even comforting, but they can also keep us stuck, even when we know better. So, what if there was a way to gently interrupt that cycle, to shift not just how you feel in the moment, but how you respond, process, and move forward in your life? That's what flower essences do. And they're one of the most gentle yet powerful tools for mental and emotional health I've ever found. Hey, I'm Denny. I'm a certified clinical herbalist and a flower essence practitioner. I've also got a background in traditional mental health counseling. So I've been an herbalist for over 2 decades now and working professionally with flower essences for most of that time. But in full honesty, I really didn't always buy into this stuff. So I was trained as a clinician, and the idea of vibrational flower waters made me skeptical, to say the least. But then I had one of those undeniable life experiences, like the kind that makes you take another look at something, and well, I changed my mind. So when I actually started working with them on myself, with clients and friends, the results were real, consistent, and powerful. And now they're a cornerstone of my practice. So in this video, I'm going to give you a brief breakdown of what flower essences are and what they're not, how they work, what they can help with, and how to choose and use them for the best results. So whatever your version of stuck looks like, there's probably a flower essence that can help. What are flower essences? Put simply, flower essences are liquid extracts. They're made from fresh blossoms of flowers, and they're used to support physical, emotional, and energetic well-being. And they don't contain any plant material. They're just the flower's energetic imprint, and they're preserved in water with a little bit of alcohol or some other preservative. And each one carries its own emotional signature that supports things like confidence, calm, clarity, processing grief, even spiritual growth. And they work on a vibrational level, interacting with your body's subtle energy systems. So they're not working biochemically like a supplement or a medication would. So before we move on, I want to clear something up because it's important. Flower essences are not essential oils. So I hear it all the time. People are like, oh, I love flower essences. I use lavender in my bath every night. But no, they basically come from completely different universes. Essential oils are strong, concentrated, and they take huge quantities of plant material to make. They work on the physical body via the amygdala, which is the emotional center of the brain. They actually create biochemical changes on the cellular level in your body. And like we mentioned before, flower essences are vibrational remedies. They work subtly on your emotional and energetic state. And they both have value. They're just completely different tools. So how do flower essences work? To use the most simple explanation I've ever found, think of your emotional state like a radio station or like a radio on a station. So when you're stuck in anxiety or old wounds, self-doubt, it's like you're tuned into a radio station that's just static. Now, flower essences don't force anything. They just help your system to kind of retune so that you can hear yourself more clearly, you can respond with more ease, and you just feel like yourself again. They work through resonance. What can flower essences help with? Well, the short answer is basically anything. But here are the 8 most common ways that people use them for powerful emotional and energetic support. Number 1, anxiety and fear. So whether it's generalized anxiety, panic, social stress, or just that constant feeling of unease so many of us have right now, there are flower essences that can help soothe your system and bring you back to baseline. Stress and overwhelm. So burnout, decision fatigue, sensory overload, emotional exhaustion, all of those things, flower essences can just kind of help you find your footing when life starts to feel like it's too much. 3, confidence and self-worth. So if your inner critic will not shut up, or if imposter syndrome is just running the show for you, Flower essences can help quiet that noise and support your sense of self-trust and inner value. Or, I think, recovering from trauma and heartbreak. So whether you're processing a recent loss or something that's been with you for a really long time, flower essences can be powerful allies in emotional repair and integration. 5, sleep issues and nervous system support. So if you can't turn your brain off at night, if you're waking up and going through your whole day just tense and wired, flower essences can help regulate your rhythms and calm your nervous system from the inside out. 6, breaking old habits and emotional habits. So we all have emotional ruts that we fall into. Flower essences can help interrupt those loops and create space for new and healthier patterns to emerge. 7, boundaries and emotional protection. So this is especially helpful for empaths, people pleasers, and our sensitive folks. So flower essences can strengthen your energetic boundaries and help you feel safe in your own skin. And finally, spiritual connection and personal growth. So if you want to feel more aligned, more intuitive, or just more connected to something bigger than yourself, there are flower essences that support that too. I have about 250 flower essences in regular rotation in my practice, so it can get really, really specific and granular. But even just one or two well-matched remedies can spark big shifts for you. Okay, now let's touch on how to actually choose a flower essence for yourself. So the theory and practice of flower essence therapy can go really, really deep, but choosing one for yourself does not have to be complicated. I usually recommend people start with the Bach remedies because they're the most simple and also the easiest to get your hands on. I'll link to them and the resources, but you can get them at most health food stores, places like that. So number 1, you're going to notice what the emotional theme is that keeps showing up. Number 2, look for an essence that supports that feeling. And number 3, you're going to trust your intuition because your body often knows what it needs. And I know that that sounds really, really simplified, and it is, but you just kind of want to pick a theme. So something that just keeps showing up for you, and then focus on that one thing to start with. So you'll see more what I mean when you look into the resources that I'm going to add to the end of the video. But yeah, you really just name the feeling. So you want to name the feeling and then match it to the flower essence that correlates with that feeling. And yeah, you just trust your gut and start with the one thing that really just keeps popping its head up for you and go with that. Finally, let's talk about using flower essences. One of my favorite things about flower essences is that they are just so easy. All you're going to do is you're going to take 4 to 8 drops either under your tongue or in your water, your tea, whatever you want to put it in. And you want to do this at least 4 times a day. So the important thing about flower essence therapy is that the frequency of the doses that you take counts a lot more than the amount. So you're better off taking more doses of just a few drops than, trying to take larger doses to make up for missing one. And if you're like me, and I think many people are, remembering to do anything 4 times a day can be really, really challenging. And so what I like to do is I take a glass of water that I just put someplace where I'm going to see it throughout the day. And I put about 12 to 15 drops in it. And then just every time that I pass by, I just take a sip. So that way you're getting a dose of your flower essence. And yeah, you don't have to really remember to do it. So one thing that I want to, give you a tip about is that the length of time that you'll need to use a particular flower essence. So if you're just doing a formula because you need some confidence and courage because you're about to give a speech or you're going on a first date or something like that, taking a few doses over the course of a single day or over the course of a few days can really do the trick. But if you're working with more deep-seated issues, so in the same vein, we'll say, true self-confidence issues, then you may be taking a formula for a month or 2. You may switch the formula up a little bit as new aspects of the issue are uncovered, things like that. So it's really a case-by-case basis of how long you're going to take it. But the biggest tip is at least 4 times a day, and they do not work if they're sitting on your shelf. You have to actually take them. Okay, so just to recap, flower essences are gentle, powerful, and safe for absolutely everyone. They support your emotional balance through the use of resonance, and they are especially helpful when you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or in transition. So I just want you to remember you do not have to white knuckle your way through healing, and sometimes the softest support can create the deepest changes. Like I said earlier, there's resources and recommended remedies linked below, and I just want to thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video.